So what's next? What's next after reality just changed for you forever? What you once to believe to be true real life no longer seems so real as you once imagined. This is a continuation of a video I just posted that actually did very well considering how young this channel is. It's called The Ultimate Reality Shift. Proceed with caution. I'll link it at the end of this video and I'll pin it down in the comments. But I got inspired to make a video of what's next. To get some context, you may want to watch that video to see what I was speaking about, to see the ultimate reality shift and see if it clicks for you during that video. But if you found this video first, buckle up because you'll get some more context and you can circle back to that if you find yourself interested. So what's next? If it has clicked for you and you have had the ultimate reality shift, if your old world is crumbling before your eyes, your old skin is shedding like a snake, a whole system upgrade is happening to you. If you feel this, if you're experiencing this directly, then what can you expect next? Well, there's a few things that you can expect next. And I'm saying this from direct experience. It may be different for everybody. But if you've had that ultimate reality shift, if you have seen reality in the truth, seen the light of truth, and you are standing in direct experience seeing truth, well, you can expect some spiritual growing pains. I have another video speaking about this as well. You know, when we stand in the play, totally devoted to our character's part, fully plugged into the matrix, whatever you'd like to call it, when we assume that role fully, without a seeing of this truth and this understanding, that's what we believe life to be. We believe life to be our character's role, the part that we play, everything that comes along with it, everything the material world has to offer. The chasing, the reaching, the grabbing, the stress, the anxiety, the fear. So when we see this shift, when we see truth, and I'll touch on why I call it truth. When we see truth, like I said, your old world is crumbling before your very eyes. Spiritual growing pains are to be expected. The existential dread, the fear, the anxiety, a whole shift into a new reality. You cannot take this lightly. I could not take this lightly. Seeing what you believe to be so real for so long, that VR headset that you were wearing has finally been removed. And you can see the game for what it really is. So expect some side effects, but do not take that as something wrong. Do not take that as a path that you shouldn't go down. This transition, this seeing, this discovery leads to a breaking of your old world. Not a breaking of you, a growing of you, transitioning to your higher level, your higher consciousness. You are brave. You are courageous because not many people will ever step where you are choosing to step. And if it isn't so clear to you at this very moment, that's okay too. You are still very courageous because, like I said, many people will go to their deathbed fully asleep, not willing, and most of the time not knowing that there is anything else to discover. You can expect it to not always be easy. I can give you an example today of what you may expect. I have seen truth. I have seen it through my direct experience, not through a concept, not through a theory, not from reading a book, through my direct experience. But guess what? I was still stressed out today. I still got caught up in the play of life. I still got annoyed. But the difference is, what I used to cling on to as me, what I used to feel like I wasn't able to get rid of, what I thought I had to get rid of, no longer has a long-lasting grip on me. This doesn't make you an impervious human being. It doesn't give you superpowers of another realm, but it lessens the grip of the material world because you know that there's no one. Wow. Some noises. I don't know if you hear that. Sounds like a bird. But it lessens the grip of the material world because you know that there's no one actually for it to grab onto. The person that you thought you existed as, you know there's nothing for it to cling on to. You know you are the whole of life. You see this. So therefore, the grip lessens. The chains no longer are able to hold you down. Yes, the emotions, the feelings, and sensations will arise. It doesn't make you impervious, but it makes you notice and aware. And it lets you see what it is for truth without adding your story to it. I want to touch on a few things here, and that's why I brought this book, this little notebook. There was a few comments. Now I may post them here in the video or I may not. One comment stood out particularly, and I'm not saying this to put somebody on blast, but I'm to kind of speak about this because many of you may feel this way. Many of you may think this way, but the comment said something along the lines of, so what does this change when you have this ultimate reality shift? If your life still sucks, it still sucks after that, after this discovery. And what I can say about that is, a lot of these videos sometimes that I post are going to be viewed from your character's role. You have to ask yourself, where is this question or where are these questions truly coming from? Are they coming from your ego identity, who you believe you are, or from the heart of discovery? And to answer that question is, I would say don't always expect something to occur. Don't expect yourself to arrive somewhere in a magical unfolding to happen. Like I just spoke a minute ago, I can say from my direct experience, somebody who stood in their ego identity, attached and identified fully with their body, somebody who was anxious and fearful at every single moment of every single day, who couldn't make eye contact with a human being. Well, what happens next is you're set free because you see that the life you believed existed the way that you believed it did, but it doesn't really exist that way as you imagined and assumed. Everything you've been taught and all the conditioning that you have been brought up to believe and the assumptions that you have made, well, they drop off, they fall off. So you realize life isn't real in the fashion that you believed it. You notice the play in the show, and you no longer have to be lost within your role. So that's what happens next. And that set me free. And I believe that it will set many others free as well with the discovery of truth. Another main thing that I wanted to talk about, and this will have to circle back to the first video, but to just clarify with you guys, I had another comment say something along the lines, I'm not going to read it all, but just the beginning part is really what I wanted to touch on. Truth is subjective. We all understand what a concept is, right? What a theory is, right? What religion is, what a doctrine is, dogma. Do we understand what direct experience is? Direct experience is what you are able not perceive necessarily, but what you are able to discover within your experience directly without the limitation or filter of the human mind. There's not a single thought needed. There's not a single conclusion needed. There's not a single theory needed for it to be figured out. So to say truth is subjective, there are truths that are subjective. But the truth that I'm speaking of is not from a character's role. An idea of a character would just be a separate point of view, and I couldn't call that truth. The reason it is called truth, that I speak of it as called truth, and I speak to you guys as truth seekers, is because truth is direct experiential understanding that is unchanging and unmoving, no matter the circumstances that you believe you are suffering. So no matter how anxious you are, no matter how fearful you are, no matter how lost you feel, no matter how many thoughts you feel are racing, truth inherently doesn't change. And that is the discovery that I'm speaking about here. You see this experientially. Whether you want to believe this or not, it is the truth you are living in, that we all are living in, because that is one of the pillars of truth. I have based this channel and this structure on just helping point others to truth, and I have this established with 3 beautiful pillars of truth that I talked about in the last video. And these pillars are, the pillar 1 is consciousness is all. Pillar 2 is we are the eternal now. And pillar 3 is we all are one. And I'm not going to dive into that necessarily here. I did that in the first video, but this isn't subjective. This is all an experience that you can see directly. Every single one of us. Because you won't find any of us anywhere else. And if you take a deeper look, you really won't find anyone existing as you believe. You'll just find sparks of the eternal flame, all burning eternally as reality. So these are some things I just wanted to touch on, guys, with what's next after this shift and what you can expect. And I also just wanted to clarify a little bit more too. So I hope this really helps you. And the last point that I wanted to make is that I did mention that, you still do get stressed, annoyed, and bothered at times, but the grip is no longer there. The long-lasting grip and the identification with the believed suffering. But when you do see truth, there is no going back. That is why it's called the ultimate reality shift. That's why I said proceed with caution, because not everybody is ready for this. Not everyone wants to see this. Not everybody wants to know that their old world, their life that they believe so solid, their past and their imagined future and their present moment and their childhood, everything that they believe they are, tied into one bundle, into one ball, instantly split, disappear. That can be very, very traumatizing for somebody to know that everything they believed they were never really existed. But there's no going back once you see it. And for me, what happens next? How did this change my life? Well, it set me free. Somebody who stood drowning in my own fear and anxiety. It set me free to see the truth of the unity that we share. Once believing we are so separate, once believing we are so divided, actually seeing that we can never be more closer, that we could actually never be more one than we are. Thank you to all my new subscribers. After this last video, the subscriber number jumped tremendously. I'm so thankful for you all to be here. Please leave your thoughts down below. Tell me how you're feeling and what you're thinking. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.